Like I always get pissed off when movies make it seem like the native. It used to be that Native Americans and Indians in movies were like fodder and for cowboys to shoot, and just 100%. These guys are awful. These guys are the bad guys. And then like recently, it's been like, no, they were the good guys all along, living in this symbiotic relationship with nature. They were just worshiping the world and the earth, and Gaia was their spirit animal, and they've been cannibalizing, raping, and enslaving each other for as long as their history went back. It was how they rolled. Like Comanche means, I'm pretty sure this might be one of those Joe Rogan facts. I'm pretty sure Comanche means enemy. Like I think it means enemy. It doesn't mean like I think a lot of the Native American names mean like, you know, if it's in their language and not like Blackfeet or something. It means something about it, like, oh, the forest people or the ridge folk, but their name means enemy because they were awful. They had ritualized torture. They thought the longer they made you fucking like scream in agony, the better the magic would be. Like they were awful people. When they brought white slaves back to the settlement to turn in and do a trade, the white people were so incensed at the treatment that the slaves had received. The girls had their noses burnt off. Their feet were the bottoms of their feet. They would burn them every night so they couldn't run away. They were just so disfigured and mangled that they were like, you know what? Let's kill them. Let's just kill them all, right? Like the white people just killed them all when they saw what they'd done to the prisoners. Of course, then the Indians killed all the rest of the prisoners up. Did all
according to the Oklahoma Historical Society, Comanche means enemy or stranger.
Yeah.
There you go. Look at you, Mr.
They're awful people. And the Apache are just a fucking out branch of them, and there's more of them. And all the Indians were like that. I think some of the bitch-made tribes, like the Cherokee, like the Eastern tribes, they seemed like they had things.
Were they bitch-made?
Yeah. They like capitulated right away. Like they were right away. They were putting on like suits and shit and accepting those big medals.
Dude, if you like were stoked on your morning because you just caught a rabbit and you did a pretty good job erecting your teepee, and then you see the largest things you've ever seen sailing towards you, a possibility that you didn't know existed as a mode of transport. Like they're going to show up and you're going to be like, all right, let's not be fucking dumb here. What do you guys want? You're offering beads? I don't even know if they're bad traders or if they were just scared. Yes, we will take your beads. Guys, this might be the best chance we have. Like, that's probably more what it was. Like, you're going to, it's like, what are those things sticking out of the side of your large craft? It's like, those are cannons. You're thousands of turns away from that in Civ. What's that? Your favorite stick? Like,
it took hundreds of years to get them all.
Oh wow, that you mush that berry up and you can make cloth purple. That's so wild. Do you notice what I'm wearing? Notice all the other colors? Yeah, bitch, we figured that out. I got pantaloons on.
How long it takes them to train their soldiers too? It's like, oh yeah, it takes a process of 7 years for you to become a man and know how to shoot a bow and arrow off the side of a horse. It's like we just gave Jerry a fucking gun and like told him how to use it for like 10 minutes. Now he's pretty fucking scary.
It's like, well, we've got a boat full of Irish alcoholics with guns. Good luck. They're undefeated so far.
Irish alcoholics just innately know how to use them.
Yeah,
we started with 30 of them. We're down to 25.
As soon as they landed, they started to work on corn vodka, and then immediately they conquered. That's all that they did. But yeah, it was a big. There's been a big uptick in the noble savage stuff. I've noticed that too.
It was like 1839 before we started fucking actually winning. Like it was like 50-50 forever. When the Texas Rangers got those revolvers, when they got, I don't know if there were 5 shooters or 6 shooters, but they had interchangeable cartridges so they could pop in another cylinder. And then they had their rifle too. That changed everything because you could carry 2 fucking guns and switch, but you wouldn't 2-gun it. You'd switch back and forth.
Did they have lever action? Rifles?
Not yet.
That was later.
Not yet.
They had these
Civil War, roughly.
They would have probably carried like a buffalo gun, like a 50 caliber, like 1 shooter that would, they could shoot pretty far.
Yeah, it was a little eye-opening for me when I first learned about, like, I thought bow and arrow versus rifle. Rifle's clearly much, much, much better, right? Depends on the scenario, because if it's a single shot rifle versus how easy it is to reload an arrow.
Depends where we're fighting. That's what matters the most. A lot of the great ranger stories involves like one ranger who was able to get up into an entrenched area up on a cliff face or something, and then they've got to kind of approach him in a weird way, and he's able to pick people off. But the way that they would fight on the open plain, they would have a couple dozen guys on horses riding in a circle. Like they create a tornado of warriors riding in a circle. And when the warrior gets to your side of this tornado, he shoots at you with his bow. And then he's shooting you from the backside of his horse. He's hanging off the fucking horse sideways. So he's covered up, except for he's head glitching on a horse that's moving. And you're a cowboy on foot that you've made your horse lay down, and you're like popping at this guy with a revolver or a rifle, and he's way over there, but he's circling, and the arrows keep coming because by the time they get around, the circle makes a revolution. He's reloaded even if he's slow, so the arrows are just, and it's a moving target constantly.
My skeet shooting experience kicks in. Like, sir, can I have you come straight away or towards me? It's so much easier.
I was gonna say, what's Comanche for? Check out this rad pixel peak.
It's fucking terrifying. And then the worst part was, you might not want to fight. You might be like a settler or a pilgrim or some shit, or a family man. You don't want to be there. They want to be there so bad. It's all they want. It's their favorite fucking thing. It's their sport. They want to beat you to death and cut the top of your head off. That's the worst part. You definitely want to die there.
Loved that.
Loved it so much, but we loved it too. Like the problem was I think Mexico, I know, would pay bounties for scalps, but how do you determine whose scalp that was?
That's
Child
like
scalp, a woman's scalp.
You don't think it was a rigorous process?
I know it wasn't.
That's like the entire plot of Blood Meridian.
Yeah, Blood Meridian is the book that they failed to make into a movie time and time again, because the subject matter and the character is so extremely gory, controversial, dark, glooming, and horrific. Like it's full of rape and murder and
I should watch
hatred.
It.
There's no movie. They
couldn't make it. Like I wish they would, but I mean, the subject. You're right. The subject matter is like, it's rapey, it's gory, it's like
the final scene is rape.
Overtones are racist, and like you could never. You might pull it off in 1980 when the 1970s before the before the CGI was that good, but nowadays, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Child murder, pedophilia, like all the awful things.
Runs the gamut.
Rough. Yeah. The movie ends with a rape.
That's a terrible way to end a movie.
And murder.
Unless it was like a really bad guy.
No.
And even then, that wouldn't make me feel like justice was served. I'd be like, oh, my hero's a rapist.
No, but yeah, that's what. Oh, your hero is a rapist. The main character, the judge, is like he's the guy who he rapes.
He rapes, but he saves.
I think he's the literal stand-in for Satan.
The actual stand-in for Satan,
or just like evil incarnate, or like the evil of man. Maybe like the worst parts of humanity. Like he's just as bad as it gets. Yeah, it's a very good book.
What would be? I mean, you made a good point about the engines, being sneaky.
Fuck them. They got what they had coming. I don't like that they get those casinos. I think I really don't. I don't like they get those. We should give those to like
the other Indians.
The other Indians. They run that. They take care of the things. All right. It'd be a little dirtier in there.
My name is Cheap Shitting Street, and I really didn't here to rob you of your money.
We really didn't do it on purpose, but last episode was obviously 7-Eleven, and we spent an hour shitting on how filthy India and Indians are.
No pun intended.
That works perfectly. Yeah,
I thought about it after the show.
Damn it! Like, how do we all miss that?
That's right. I don't know. I thought about it after the show. I was, we missed that joke. Yeah, we don't. But yeah, Native Americans, I've always thought just like, what are you doing? Whenever I see them treated as like the good guy in the movie or something, or when tribal life is sort of shown as just this peaceful coexisting with nature sort of thing, like Fern Gullying it, like making them the Na'vi from Avatar, this just like perfect group of like in sync with nature and harmonious living, and then white man comes to colonize. And he wants to burn coal and dig for his shiny ore and rape our women and enslave us. It's like, no, you are a slave trader. Like that's what your chief does for a living. He's like, horses and slaves, what do you want? Like that's what you do for a living, is trade horses and slaves.
Don't get me wrong, like no side was like perfect in that, but people forget that like before the white man showed up, they were like, oh, when the white man came, like they were all like all the Indians got brutalized. It's like they were doing that to each other long before we showed up.
For sure.
Yeah. Like white people and Europeans were just way better at war. Like when you're 100 techs ahead, like you're not going to lose.
We just kept
it's as
coming.
simple as that. Like
we lost so bad for so long. like Mexico in particular was giving all this free land away, which is now Texas, and inviting all these, come look, and they'd be like a poster. It's kind of like that Kevin Costner movie Horizon. Like, look how beautiful it is out here, free land. And then they'd have all these people living on their territory that were white people that they thought of as like a human buffer zone against the Native Americans. So if they got killed, they weren't defended by the Mexican army or the Mexican government. They had to count on what came to be the Texas Rangers and stuff like that. That's kind of why the war got fought, I think, eventually, is and Texas became Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, oof. I mean, if I were American Indian, I would also want to do a little revisionist history, because it'd be like, fuck, we got beat that bad for that long, like totally conquered. Like, nah, I would appreciate movies that were like, oh, we were like awesome before they showed up. They just got the jump on us.
Now, what I will say, what is
like
super
totally
shitty,
ridiculous.
What is super shitty is like we would make deals with them and we'd sign that shit, and then we'd find out that like, oh, we need that river, or we need that mountain, or we need, oh, there's gold there. You gave the gold mountain to the Indians? Well, move them over there. And we just kind of go back on our word time and time again. That's pretty shitty. That's a lie. We don't like liars.
The government going back on their word?
Yeah, that's not ideal. Usually the government's so good about that. They're like, no, we're not raising taxes. No, we're not doing these things you hate actively. So I guess it's always been the same.
I've been thinking about that movie you say they can't make. And I don't know, it just got in my head as you're like talking about all the reasons it's so bad, and the PKA response to it is this song parody. Rapey and gory and child abuse, evil and murder, savages gone loose, brown hairy scalps tied up with strings. These are a few of our favorite things.
Do you think they would like that?
Yeah, was that I think Chat GPT, or did you just do that?
Did you Chat GPT that?
That's our Christmas album
now.
Just sitting there writing, being like, "No, that's not racist enough."
Think, damn
hit it harder.
Jesus Christ,
came out well.
Yeah. Who would you want if we have to conquer a new group right now? Can't say no.
Sentinel Island.
Are we talking about a territory or a group of people?
Like I guess a group of land territory. That's a better word. Yeah.
I would prefer to subjugate a group of people, but if you put me to it, I guess.
Oh, well, I was just thinking like a territory is like a more useful thing to think about. Like,
see, the problem with that is like you got to get rid of the people or it's not worth anything. Like the problem with Puerto Rico is all the Puerto Ricans.
Yeah,
right?
but if you're like I'm not saying like if we wanted to steal Canada,
Israel.
Like if we wanted to steal Canada, like you would take the territory of Canada. You wouldn't be like, all right, we're gonna round up all these French Canadians and throw them in a fucking camp or something.
I think you could Genghis Kong it and make it better than it was before you got there, right? Like he would come in, remove the little monarchies, put in a meritocracy, and that's how he retained control over a broad swath.
Prima nocta.
Yeah,
prima nocta right away.
It was better for them after Genghis Kong left, so I'm told.
So I'm gonna have Taylor go in, fuck all their wives. Anybody gets married, Taylor gets to deflower their brides.
Tight.
Yep, got you back anytime.
Thanks, man.
He's gonna be up there banging all them French Canadian broads. And I think we want to go work diagonally here. I want to take that like north eastern part of Canada with all the coastline and shit. That seems valuable. Probably some good fishery to be had. Fisheries,
definitely some fishes.
And I also want to go down there to the Baja or whatever it's called, Woody, that you like so much. That little peninsula.
That's my thought.
All the way down. Zach, would you pull up James Polk's intended final map for the United States of America? Frankly, I'm a Polk man.
I'm a big Polk guy. I've seen this map, and it shows us what could have been.
What could have been, indeed. What could have been. We take the whole Gulf of Mexico. I believe the Cuba.
Woody?
What's that? Oh, yeah, I know it. Yeah. I wonder how different America would be if we had that much Mexico.
Yeah. Like, would we make that part of Mexico better? Or would
hell
yeah. They make us worse?
Texas? We'd make it Texas. No, that's not what I'm looking
for. No, that's not it.
Yeah.
Let me find the
what was I gonna say? Yeah, I mean, some of that Mexican
So
land
blurry.
doesn't seem that great. It's like 8,000 feet altitude and low rain, and that's not it.
No.
Sent it.
Well, that's a little bit of Zach's. Taylor's got it, I think.
Yeah, I sent it.
That sort of describes. I thought in his
How does
map
that-
he takes that whole peninsula below San Diego.
There we
Yeah,
go.
that's my
what he
shit.
had in mind.
Now that's a fucking empire, boys. That's what I want to do. Honestly, like what I always think about, frankly, is pushing Mexico back. I don't like, immigration's a bit of an issue, I feel. So we should just push it back. We should just push the wall back to a more manageable area. They always talk about, oh, the wall would have to be this long. Well,
Not if we
further
push it
south we
down
go,
a little
Yeah.
bit.
further
That
south
wall's
we
not
go,
so long.
the
from what
shorter
I'm
the
looking
wall
at.
gets. Yeah, it looks like a short wall right there, and you can put some howitzers on the other side and
Yeah.
some
Mhm.
mines. I think
We get fucking Cuba. Think about the vacation possibilities.
look at that other chunk of what I assume is Mexico that over in the Gulf of Mexico that we're just taking as well. Fuck
It
you.
is. Yeah. I would almost prefer if we gave him a little bit of the Croatia treatment and we took
Why is he leaving the British
all
Isles
of
out?
that.
Why aren't we taking all the Isles down?
There was like
there?
nothing there at the time.
Oh, wait.
Bunch
Did
of
he take-
nonsense.
What is that big country? Is that Haiti and Dominican Republic or
So, no,
Cuba?
that Dominican Republic and Haiti are right just off screen to the right. That's Cuba.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, my dumb ass.
But look
Oh,
how
no,
far
you're
he's
good.
going up north in the northeast. He's taking some extra stuff up there, I believe. I thought.
Yeah,
he
look
was
how much
anyway.
north we have of Portland now.
Yeah, good for James Polk.
We've got
Great
all
president.
the pretty much entire control of the Great Lakes.
I didn't realize he changed the parallel, probably by
Yeah.
one.
That's great.
Is it-
What else was
Oh,
James
the
K. Polk all about?
50th? I don't
Did
know.
he get? What did he get done?
He was a cheese man.
Was he a cheeseman?
Kept a wheel of cheese in the White House. It weighed 800 pounds, and anyone who came in could have a bit.
There's no fucking way. For how long?
don't-
How long do you think like a cheese wheel? Actually, it depends on the kind of cheese. Fair.
You get 800 pounds of cheese, it goes a long way. In those days, you see, the White House was open to visitors. You could just walk right in and take your business straight to the big man.
And my business was.
I'm
1
only
pound of
making up
cheese.
80% of this.
This can't be
There-
true.
There was a giant wheel of cheese in the White House, I think, that visitors could gorge themselves upon if they visited on a daily basis. And the White House was open, like to the public.
James Polk
That-
was known
that's a-
for pooping once a week
What the fuck? Why
Oh,
would he be
no.
known for that? What?
because of the
how does-
cheese.
He just had the map and the poop. That's his only thing. If that's on his Wikipedia.
Yeah. He was known for pooping
Ah,
once a
this
week
is-
because his
this
diet
is
was
who it
mostly
is.
cheese.
Andrew
was the-
Jackson in the main foyer of the White House had a 2-ton block of cheese. It was there for any and all who were hungry. It was there for the voiceless.
There you go.
What?
To be
Cheese
honest,
for
that's
the
like
voiceless.
the one thing that hasn't changed is that cheese is still a flex.
Oh, this is from the fucking West Wing. That's not even.
What are you
he
talking
keep-
about?
Oh, what I just read was a quote from the fictitious White House Chief of Staff Leo McGarry in season 2 of the West Wing. But it does say Andrew Jackson did in fact keep an enormous block of cheese in the White House. But that seems to be where the similarities with the West Wing end.
He kept the block of cheese for the people that walked in. That's a fact. Now, I think what.
Oh, here it is. According to Benjamin Perley Poore in his 1886 book, Perley's Reminiscences of 60 Years in the National Metropolis. Dude, book titles back then rock. Thomas Jefferson received an awe-inspiring 1,600-pound cheese behemoth from a Western Massachusetts man, and Jackson's admirers thought that every honor which Jefferson ever had received should be paid to him. So some of them resided in the rural district of New York, got up a mammoth cheese for Old Hickory.
Dibs on the indie band name Cheese Behemoth.
Yes, that's a good one. Man, what a fun guy. Andrew Jackson. You go to his White House, he hands out cheese. He's taking
When I
care
was
of that Indian problem.
He's on the $20 bill. On the $20 bill.
It's on the 20.
I remember
one of
when
the
I was
most useful bills.
when I was in middle school. This they brought in this savage American. I don't know what he was. He was all dressed up with beads in his hair and shit. And he had moccasins on, and he brought all this.
I can
he brought
probably
all
guess.
He brought all this bullshit artwork that his savage family had made, I guess. And then he gave us some like bullshit speech about how he won't even carry a $20 bill because Andrew Jackson's on it.
That's all I carry. And it's nothing to do with
Yeah.
the president on it. It's just the right currency. Hundreds, I don't roll that deep.
Yeah.
Tens and fives, I just put them in the glove compartment or something.
I have brought for you today this ancient art from my forefathers. It is a buffalo in macaroni. Everyone has to be like, wow.
He's got finger paints.
Unfortunately, the horns have begun to fall off.
My Indian name is He Who Paints with Craft.
Yeah.
There was a girl that I went to school with way back in the day, because I was back in North Carolina. We had a place called Lumberton, and there's like the Lumbee Indians there, which it was kind of like a big thing growing up, because they were like, nobody was really sure if that was a real Indian tribe, because they were the right skin tone and complexion. They had like kind of built their own culture, but most of them historically, it seemed like they were just runaway slaves that had inbred with the locals. And so it was kind of like there was a historical context for it, but nobody was really sure. But what they seem to have done is pissed off a lot of the other local like Native American tribes, because they would steal different parts of their culture that they liked and just kind of like created their own amalgamation. So I had one girl that I was going to school with that, like, for the school assembly, dressed up in like 18 different Native American garbs from like different places, and like acted like she was the last of the fucking Mohicans. Like, I don't, not to sound insensitive, but I feel like there's a lot more of you than you'd like to lead on.
It's like, yeah, I mean, number one, the propeller ball cap. I don't know if that's tradition, but yeah, I think every high school had a couple of those girls, right? Just clearly white as the driven snow, and being like, I'm Native American. And it's like, no, you're not. Your last name is Nyquist.
Like Elizabeth Warren catching strays for no reason.
Dude, every time I think of Warren, I think of the funniest Trump tweet I think of the entire time. Zach, if you can pull it up rapidly, that would be funny. When she was trying to like do a little boost like video from home, and she was like drinking a beer, like trying to seem folksy and casual, and she like turned to her husband and it was like, "Thank you for being here." And Trump tweeted, he's like, "What a disaster. Terrible video for Pocahontas." She turned to her husband and said, "Thanks for being here. It's his house. Where's he supposed to be?" And it's like, that's so, I wish he'd shitpost again. He's probably too old.
Where is he?
I wish he would come back to Twitter.
Yeah,
I really miss those days. But I just got a brief little stint of air conditioning from downstairs, getting some more water. There's like a distinct 15-degree difference right now in my house, and it's killing me.
Oof, you're like, plus the Rona, that makes it worse.